You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers, but we got Kyle from Madison.
Brian, Kyle from Madison.
What's up, dude?
So I was just listening to your reply to me on After Dark. I had you kind of triggered. I was calling about just taking your temperature on the roster and I mentioned I wonder what the team would have been without Parsons last year. Obviously you kind of went on your confidence level soliloquy there. And, you mentioned it being, I can't remember the exact words, but kind of at a knife edge here, or kind of at the precipice of disaster or not, you know what I mean? And I know that's not exactly what you said, but that was the sentiment. And yeah, man, I agree with you. And in particular with Goody, man. So I know we collectively, Packernet Nation and you have talked a lot about, you can't go back and relitigate, TJ Watt, Kevin King, or, my particular one is Humphrey. I would have taken him 10 times out of 10 over Myers, but I understand, every GM makes mistakes. You can't shoot 1,000%, not even close to that. And you've been very clear with kind of your stance on that. And I totally get it. I think with Gutekunst in the draft, it usually stings the most though, when consensus is screaming something, and they're not always right. I'm just saying this is more how it feels when it goes bad thing. But when he took Van Ness, who, look, man, it's getting real late for him. I'm not saying he's bust yet, but man, he was, because there's flashes, but yeah, that's what busts are. They have flashes and they never do anything else, right? When he took him over JSN, I remember thinking, okay, I can see that you're going to go with this upside guy, but man, you're turning down a hell of a receiver. Geez. And everybody kind of was all right, dude, I hope this guy pans out, because man, would that guy look good in the green and gold. And it sets in motion effect, this butterfly effect, or this domino effect, where it's all right, if you would have got the right center, you would have been set there. If you would have got the receiver that year, you could have used your pick that you used on Golden for D tackle. You know what I mean? I know that's easier said than done, but man, it freaking hurts, because you can just see how it easily, one or two picks differently, would have been a totally different story. I'm going to call you back because I got more to say.
Yeah. And again, I've talked about that 1,000 times, and I don't necessarily like it because, you can pick any one example. And in the case of Jackson Smith and Jigba, that one was real hot, and then it started to cool off a lot. We weren't even supposed to be able to touch Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then by the time the pick came, and I'm not speaking about you, but half of even Packer fans were like, I don't even think he's that good. And obviously the NFL felt that way too, because he not only fell to the Packers, he fell well beyond the Packers. So, that was one that a lot of people and fans too also, again, if we're being honest, by the time the draft came, he was not nearly as hot as there was still a large contingent of Packer fans, but I would say it was 50-50, with 50% still on the JSN train and 50% had gotten well off of that. But either way, the larger point is I don't like the one-time comparison type stuff. Those things will happen all the time, because everybody except the team that picked him, everybody missed on him. everybody decided he should slide, including even the team that, if the team that picked him had been in our position, would they have taken him? Don't know. Maybe not. I have no idea what they would have done. They may not have taken him either. And maybe we would have if we were all the way back in their position and he fell to us. The bigger issue isn't just the one-offs. The bigger issue for me is the consistency. It's, what have you done over a period of time? And the biggest reason is because you'll have a great GM, and the whiny people will find that one thing. Yeah, but what about that? Shut up, dude. He's doing a freaking awesome job as a GM. The reason I'm obviously very skeptical at this point, and I've been a huge defender of Gutekunst, but even last year, I said, prior to the season, I don't know, man. I mean, he's kind of at that point where we could go either way, and it was kind of a bad year. I mean, as far as like Gutekunst draft picks and all that kind of stuff going, it was not very good. I would say that was another L, and I don't know how you can look over the last 2 to 3 years and say that it's been really, really good. If we're specifically looking at the draft, it hasn't all been bad, but I would say it's been well below the threshold of expectations. And, there's still the potential, depending on, I don't think we got to see Golden, which is unfortunate because I think he would have been a massive slam dunk. We really didn't get to see Morgan or Belton, if we're being honest, which is a crappy thing. So these things can turn around. But, if they don't again, because I'm kind of just saying the same thing as last year where it's like, okay, we got to see something. And then this year it's like, well, we'll give you a mulligan because a lot of, the coaching staff kind of screwed that up for you. So let's get a better look at those 3 prospects and see if anybody else can step up. And we'll give you this draft class to see if any of these guys can make impacts as rookies. But honestly, if not, man, I mean, it's just, I can't do it again. We can't go into, 2027 saying, well, let's just see if these guys can grow and let's just see if we can't keep doing that. There has to be some level of something. So, again, I as I've said before, I stand by everything I've said positively about Brian Gutekunst because I like what he did as a GM. I was very impressed with him. But things change over time. And this isn't 2018. This isn't 2019. We're far removed from back in the day when you rebuilt this team, twice even. Rebuilt it when you first took it over, and that was great. And then when Rodgers leaves, we got another big situation we got to try to figure out, and that was great. The transition was fantastic. We go right back to the playoffs, and everything's wonderful. But it's been not good overall. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying about the consensus thing. I'd rather not view it through that lens. I know it's more painful, but I don't think that's. I don't like that.
Had we just made, those 2 decisions differently, I mean, it's like the whole roster is different. You imagine JSN on this team? Now, I'm not saying Golden's a bust or anything yet, but that does hurt. And I don't know, man. It's like, I'm not some football genius, but when I look and when I see the stats and I see that Jordan Love is literally one of the greatest all-time clean pocket passers ever to play the game. Now, you fact check me there. Maybe I'm off base. But that was my understanding. That tells me make him a clean pocket quarterback with your freaking offensive line, genius. Yeah. Like this, I understand the guy can throw off his back foot like a freak, but can we not have him do it all the time or not have him expecting that he's going to have to do it all the time, for God's sake? Like, oh, God, it just kills me that Goody can't draft offensive linemen very well. I don't understand it. And then, like, the free agent thing, man. Okay, yeah. You got the Smith and Smith, you got McKinney, you got Jacobs. But he's also the guy that brought you Sammy Watkins. Like, what?
Well, and that's kind of the same thing, too. I mean, you can't expect... I think his free agent hits have been very significantly positive. You're always going to bring in low-level guys. I think the ones that, Sammy Watkins was basically free, and there was no wide receivers available in free agency. Everybody's screaming for wide receivers. There was not a single good wide receiver. He went out and got Watkins. It was worth a shot. The ones that bother me are the high price ones like Banks, because this is saying, no, this guy's actually elite, and he's not, and we paid him like he is, and he came in and he's not. That's annoying to me. Throwing a couple bucks at a Sammy Watkins or some other frickin' nothing player just to fill out a roster, who cares? Not everybody's going to be elite. Not everybody's even meant to be elite. But you look at how many people massively overperformed. Even Za'Darius, who we paid a decent chunk of money, massively overperformed. Preston overperformed. Look at Devondre Campbell. We paid him basically no money, and he was like the best linebacker in football for a year for us. Rasul Douglas is another one. We paid him almost no money. He came in here. He was very good. So I think kind of similar to the draft, a lot of free agent players do not really pan out. It's it's a big part of the reason why I'm more anti-free agency. It's overpriced, and you're probably going to pay more than what you're going to get in talent. And Gutekunst has bucked that trend in a lot of ways. Gutekunst and his staff. So, and you know, again, even that the Hobbs and Banks thing, there wasn't a single good free agent. Everybody sucked, that entire free agent class. So I'm not super mad about it. Again, the only thing I'm mad about is how much you paid. If there's nobody and you get somebody and he's a nobody and you didn't pay him very much, I don't freaking care. Just the Banks and what's his name, the other offensive lineman, those two infuriate me.
Oh boy, Sammy Watkins and Hobbs and then Banks. I mean, I know you're really low on him. To me, it's still a mystery, but I mean, I guess he had one or two decent games. Is it possibly he starts playing better? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they cut him. I mean, then you look at Walker, like Quay Walker, like shouldn't they have extended that 5th year to him? I mean, they took him in the first. You get that 5th year. It would have been a lot cheaper than what maybe not. I don't know. Either way, they're going to lose him. They can't afford him. I mean, then what do you do with Wyatt? You're going to pay Wyatt? Okay. But, like, really? He's been great in stretches. He's not held up for a season. He's been injured, and he's been hot and cold. So now you're going to pay this guy big bucks or what? You can't lose him. You got nobody in the interior then. It's just like you can see how this thing can fall off a cliff, right? Yeah. Like, if Jordan Morgan can't play left tackle at a high level,
yeah, we're in trouble.
That's probably us falling down the cliff.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? Like, that'll be kind of the last disaster, really, and you can just see it all going to hell if that happens, Now, if the team can just freaking get healthy, I feel like they can be in it, but I don't know, man. Like, I think you got to bring LaFleur back the way they did. Hold on, I'm going to call you back one more time.
Okay.
I mean, I think policy probably made the right decision, even though I kind of felt like it had run its course, even though we likely would be worse without LaFleur for a while. But I understand the decision because it's probably in his mind, it comes down to one thing, and that's the quarterback, the big bucks franchise quarterback. And
sure.
It would appear that LaFleur and his team are pretty good with quarterbacks. And if I can see the logic being, well, do you risk losing something from Love? You know what I mean? Right. If you get a different coach and you have a step back, I can understand the rationale, but my goodness, is there a lot on the line? I still don't really see our coaching staff and the GM as safe. I understand that there's been a long-term deal, I guess. I haven't really seen the terms, but like if they come out and can't block for the quarterback this year again, or they end up hobbled and getting beat in the first round again, I just don't know. I don't know how you can keep that going with some of the elite talent you have. I think at the quarterback position, I think Watson, certainly, you got Parsons, you got some pieces here. And, I guess what I'm saying is it's almost easier to see it going poorly than it is to see it going well. Now, maybe that's just the recency bias of having to sit through a 5-game losing streak, but I don't know, like, okay, what levers do you have to pull? Even if you're the most amazing GM, what levers do you have to pull this year? Well, you got no first-round picks the next 2 years. You're not fully in cap hell, but you don't have a lot of money. You're going to have to cut people that are good players or, let them test the market, probably find employment elsewhere like Dobbs, Walker. If we're going in with McDuffie starting, if Cooper takes another step back, and if I don't know what they're going to do about the freaking offensive line, probably nothing, which makes me crazy.
Yep.
They're going to probably lose Jenkins. Like, I don't know, man. And then what's left? You got free agency, but like you mentioned, like, what are we going to build through free agency now? That's not how we do it. So I'm not embracing the doom or anything right now, and I'm not calling doom realism. I didn't either. You know what I mean? These realistic fans. But I am trying to call balls and strikes here, and I do think, this is the year, man. Like, you're going to find out about your GM, your coach this year. I just, at the end of this season, we're going to know a lot more information. You know what I mean, bud? All right, see ya.
Yeah, and, I'm with you on all that. It's so weird because I really like the team. And I do think there's some probably recency bias in that because, everything you're saying is right. Everything that I think that, I've been saying in that line, I believe. But then you look at it and it's like, bro, I mean, look at the players and the play call, it's going to be good. If the defensive coordinator does a good job, and I think that he will, and, probably going to get to the quarterback really well in the secondary, it's going to go well. Should be a good team as long as we're healthy. So what is the problem? But like you said, I mean, it's not hard to see a scenario, especially that freaking offensive line, where it just goes wrong. And so it kind of puts me in a position where I'm almost leaning more on Gutekunst than LaFleur in terms of, like, I'm looking at you, bud. The LaFleur thing is kind of just, it's a mystical thing. I don't know if he's a problem at all. He might not be. He might be zero problems on this team. He might just be an elite play caller that's a wonderful leader and all that stuff. I don't know. The problem is I can't see it. With Gutekunst, I can see it. And so if they come back and they start winning games, because to be honest, that whole falling apart at the end of games thing, that's a new phenomenon. It's not like that's always been Matt LaFleur's thing. And it's kind of a recency bias, or what do you call it, where you fake remember stuff because it's happened recently. We've had entire times where the second half is when we come alive. We suck in the first half, and then we dominate the second half. There's all these weird little quirks or whatever. And if next year that quirk of not playing at the end goes away, we're not even going to be talking about it anymore. But with Gutekunst, and I get that to some degree the draft is a crapshoot. Again, look at Schneider. He was an elite GM for like 2-3 years and then dog crap for like 8. And then he comes back and nails a bunch of drafts and they're back in the Super Bowl and he's a genius again. I know that Gutekunst has what it takes to have a really good draft class and some good free agent, and not even that we need to necessarily build the team because the team's built. But there are a couple things on this checklist that have to start getting solved because if we can solve them, it's a very good team. If they continue to take a step back, you look at all the people we're losing. And again, this is all the crap. The reason it scares me is this is all the crap I say about the Vikings and the Bears and the Lions when I'm making fun of them. If you continue to lose at a rapid rate, faster than you're replacing, even if you want to say, well, Quay doesn't really provide us that much, and Elton wasn't really providing us that much, and Romeo wasn't providing us that much. Romeo was a good player, and Elton was a good player. Even if you didn't like him this past year or whatever, not having him is significantly worse than the situation we've had over the last several years when we've had him. Losing Emmanuel Wilson, losing all these different people is making us not better. The only case you can make is Romeo because we're going to force Golden the ball, and that's going to make us a little bit better. But, I mean, look at all the first downs and things that Romeo gave us that we wouldn't get without him. And beyond that, just a depth standpoint. If we don't bring back Sean Ryan also and Elton Jenkins and all these other guys, You know, we're getting thin, and now we're going to start relying on what? Some UDFAs to try to fill out the roster on top of some draft picks, you know, that maybe will work and maybe won't. Maybe some last year's or 2 years ago draft picks that haven't really gotten a shot are going to be thrust into the roles here. Maybe see a little bit of Tyron Hopper taking over. We're thinning out. And I'd rather bulk up than thin out. We've got to start getting guys in that perform at a higher level than the people who are leaving or who are aging or whatever the case may be. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, that day, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois.
Yo.
I saw someone posted on social media last night that the annual report card come out about grades regarding how players voted on facility, how they're treated, just all of the conditions and quality of everything, quality of care and stuff. And I haven't seen any of the results, but somebody was talking about it, and they said something leaked out regarding players voting for the coaches and grading out the coaches. And apparently, Ben Johnson was one of those at the very, very top. And apparently, our very own Matt LaFleur was like the second worst of all the teams. I'm just quoting what I saw, so I'm not confirming that's an exact result. But if it is, that causes me to worry a little bit.
Yes.
When players are saying that coach either is disrespecting them or doesn't care for them, it just that's disconcerting, to say the least. I don't know if you could look into it a little bit more. I'm just reporting on what I saw on social media. Last night was just a real quick post and stuff, so thought I'd throw it in there. I don't know if you discussed it yet or not, but it's worth discussing. I'm out.
Yep, and I did do the podcast on it. I'm sure you've heard that by now. And it falls in line with what we're talking about. That's sort of, like you said, it makes you nervous. It's that anxiety. I mean, it made me upset, but honestly, the anger came from the anxiety of it all. Because just like what Kyle's talking about, it's like, you know, I'm not trying to just be negative and I'm not trying to whatever, but it just feels like we're kind of going in a bad direction here. And I can certainly see a positive path and things can certainly get better, but it doesn't feel like we're going in that right direction. And the thing that really pissed me off is that all we can do is give them the benefit of the doubt. And it's like, no, you don't understand. They love Matt LaFleur, and they love the coaching staff, and they love Rich Bisaccia, and it's like we've just been freaking gaslit this entire time. They've just been lying to us, and in reality, they don't like these coaches. It's not to say they hate them, but it's just a freaking lie. And it just ticked me off. The fear of it, as well as just the frustration of it, but then just, you know, again, it's you get that condescending bull crap from people where it's like, if you knew, you'd never be saying that. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a bunch of blowhards. You're a bunch of idiots. You're not in that locker room. You don't understand the amount of respect that he commands. You don't understand. You don't get it. Blah, 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 blah. You frickin' bunch of condescending jagoffs. Whoever those people may be. Talking about, oh, you don't know, you're some stupid fan or you're some stupid podcaster. You don't know what you're talking about, man. You don't know the real truth. You don't know what it's like to be a football player. You haven't been in that locker room. You don't know this. I've talked to those guys. They love. Okay, well, they put pen to paper and said that they don't. Okay, it was Rich Bisaccia, like the 20th most liked coach or special teams coordinator. Get out of my frickin' face with this stupid bull crap about he had to stay because he's just so loved by this team. You bunch of frickin' gaslighting, lying jagoffs. Just absolutely infuriated me. And it's like, this is the entire predicate for why these guys need to stay. Right? It's Or at the, I mean, it was the, at least for Bisaccia it was, but for all the other guys, it's no. It's not true that they don't respect him. It's not true that they don't like him. You know, Stenovich is great, and their offensive line coach is great, and Matt LaFleur is great. You don't understand. They're really, really doing a good job and everything. Okay, well, players don't seem to think so. It's not like they got an F grade, but, you know, just comparing to around the rest of the league, especially the Bisaccia one, pissed me off so much. He's supposed to be like the most loved and beloved man in the entirety of the NFL. I mean, the way they paint the picture, you'd have thought that it's, you know, everybody around the NFL would be begging for the guy. And yet, apparently, he's not even like top half as far as how much he's liked as a special teams coordinator in the NFL. Some random frickin' Jaguars special teams coordinator apparently is liked even more than Rich Bisaccia. Some guys that you've never even heard of. So I don't believe you frickin' people anymore, and it just confirms more and more that our gut feelings are right about stuff. And I don't want my gut to be right about stuff. I want to be wrong about these things. I want when people tell me that no, you don't understand that they're really liked and they're really respected and all that. That, you know what, I guess maybe they would know better than me, and so I'll just leave it alone and, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt. And then this comes out, and it's like, first of all, damn it, I was wrong. Second of all, you bunch of frickin' lying a-holes. Ugh, just infuriating.
Hey, Ryan. I guess I've been full of suggestions lately, but I got a lot of time on my hands sometimes, so
All right.
allows me to brainstorm for you. And here's a couple more suggestions that you may want to consider. One being that you could probably add some segments to particular podcasts that you do, like when you have a specialized podcast just laughing at the enemy. Mm-hmm. Maybe, just maybe, we could have some segments, maybe at the end of certain podcasts, where you have one segment that is the jag-off of the week, where you discuss or talk about the stupidest thing that you saw that week that was said by a GM, a player, coach, a talking head, someone who called in too much, that kind of stuff. So just another segment you could add to your plethora of your library. And I would really like to see you expand on laughing at the enemy a little bit. I really liked it in the past where you've had guests that you've done podcasts with. They're from other teams. It would be interesting to maybe do some leading up into the mock draft to kind of get an idea of what they're looking at and what they're hoping for their team, and just an all-around get a better feel for what the NFC North is looking at when it comes to the draft. So, just another suggestion. I know you got a lot of things on your plate to deal with. So, but since this is your full-time job now, I kind of feel like you got to do it. So, just do it. Just like Dwight said, do it. Do it now.
Yeah, the jag off of the week thing. I mean, that would be good if you guys helped out with that. You know, have like submissions and stuff, and I could grab one. The hardest part is going to be saving it and not talking about it. Otherwise, it would just be like throughout the week you talk about a bunch of stupid things, and then you just pick one and kind of revisit it, I guess. It'd be hard to kind of set it aside, and then if you found one that's better, then you'd read it and be like, this is from 5 days ago, but I thought it was going to be jag off of the week, but then something better came up, so now this one I'll just read this even though it's old news. You know what I mean? The other thing could be like if there was something on the Facebook group, like a comment or something, but I don't want to dog people in my own Facebook group. Could be on social media. You know, it'd be one of those things where you could tag in the comments of a stupid Bears comment or something, jag off of the week kind of thing. I don't know. Could try to figure something out. What was the other? Oh, yeah. Talking to NFC North people. Yeah, I could. I think I mean, I think it's a good idea generally, and I'm definitely going to be doing stuff like that. That'll probably be more like on the draft thing, but I could incorporate it into the Packernet just for the Bears, Vikings, Lions stuff. I don't know if I would have them on or if it would just be kind of talk to them and kind of get their insights and stuff and then relay that. I know you guys like the collaboration stuff, but I don't know. I just tend to not want to do that. It's so much extra freaking work coordinating schedules and like, oh, you want to be on? Yeah. And then like when I have to do it, I regret it so much. It's like, oh, I got a thing coming up at like a certain time and then I forget. And then it's like, oh, I got to set up a thing. And then I get nervous about like doing it. And it's like, why did I do this? And I don't know what to say. All that. And then does anybody actually really like it that much? Other than just being like, oh, that was nice. I don't think so. But I'll definitely try to get some NFC North vibes going as far as what the folks out there are thinking and what they're planning. Because as I've said, it's not just the Packers just don't play in a vacuum. We got to keep tabs on our other rivals and what they're up to and whatnot. So we'll definitely be doing that. All right, we'll take a break. We got a couple more Garrett, and if we can get to it, Uncle Rico.
Hey, Ryan. Garrett from Southern Illinois. I just listened to like 6 podcasts in a row because there was a day where there wasn't any that got posted. So trying to get caught up all at once. And so there's a lot floating around in my mind. So just bear with me here as I jump all over the place. Number one, when it comes to cooking for your in-laws,
yes,
I'll have to send you another barbecue care package with some new sauces
Garrett.
and
dude, I'm not even kidding. So the rub, the seasoning that you sent me, it's like orange and thyme or something. It's a very weird combo, and I remember looking at it and being like, I don't know what to do with this, honestly. I put it on pork, and I don't know why it works. First of all, I love, or no, it's not. I think it's rosemary. I love rosemary. I've come to realize. So but the orange, it works. I don't know. It's weird, but it very much works. And my kids love it. Everybody loves it. And I was just looking at it the other day, and it's less than half full now. And I was like, oh man, I'm getting kind of sad. That's getting close to being gone. I'm not saying you got to send that to me at all. It's just funny that you mentioned that because it was within the last week. I don't know exactly what day. I was looking at it, and I was just like, oh man. I've never even seen that before. I don't even know where you would get that from.
Italian beef seasoning that I sent you last time.
Yes.
Because you can't go wrong with Italian beef.
No.
So I'm going to...
Bro, now you're making me feel stupid. I tried that one time, and I need to try it again. I still have some of your seasonings, some of those packets. I'm guessing they're fine. It's kind of a long time ago. I botched that so bad. I think I got like the weights wrong for the meat. And I put it in there forever. The seasoning was good, but it was just like beef jerky swimming in like juice. And I'm making myself sound terrible. I make stuff. It's good. I'm pretty good at doing this stuff. But there's some horror stories, and it's either when I'm cooking for people, or people outside of my family, immediate kids and wife. Well, kids. My wife's a vegetarian. More meat for me. But and then the time I tried to make the frickin' Italian beef. Otherwise, I'm usually pretty competent at this stuff.
Get that all packed up together, and I'll send you a PM and get your address again so I can mail that stuff to you. So
thanks, dude.
Since it's getting ready to be, barbecue season and all this,
yeah,
I'll try to do my best to send you some stuff that you can't get up there. So, number two, I have to disagree. I think you would make a really good reporter in the room, in the media room when it comes to asking questions. You just don't give yourself enough credit. But if you just let off every question with, look, you jag off, I think you have their undivided attention, and you could ask them about anything, and you're going to get an interesting answer after that.
That's true.
So then when it comes to other stuff, Green Bay, to me is like the iconic place to go watch a football game. I've been to Lambeau twice, and this whole thing with Chicago just has me just blown away that people are ready just to let them go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'd never been to Chicago, never been to Soldier Field. I know before they made it into a UFO, it was the iconic Soldier Field. Now it just looks like another mall in Gurney. But, it's sad to think that the place where Dick Butkus played, Walter Payton, those guys were really great players, and to have that place just not have football anymore is a real tragedy. It's a tragedy. And I remember when they had to play at U of I when they were doing the renovations at Soldier Field, and never got a chance to go up there to see a game. But it's one of those things where it's like Chicago just finds a way just to mess everything up. And it doesn't surprise me that this is happening to them. Their ownership really is just a bunch of buffoons, but in and of itself, it is a tragedy in some ways when you really think about it.
It is, and I know the Bears fans are going through the whole cope thing, but it should be a lot more infuriating than what they're at least leading on. I just, what if the Packers left Green Bay? Can you imagine if they left Green Bay and went to, I don't know, freaking West Dallas? And it's like, see, they didn't leave Wisconsin. I mean, I can't imagine that would be the sentiment. And it's ridiculous to me that Bears fans seem to be just at least pretending that they think that this is fine. This is no big deal. I know they hated the Indiana thing, but they're acting like it's some massive victory that it seems like they're going to stay in Illinois. Don't know, but they seem to think so. In what freaking world is that a victory? That's a tragedy. It's a travesty. And even Packer fans like you and I are looking at it going, I'm laughing at you, but that's freaking sad, and it's terrible, and it should never have happened. How did we get here?
Real quick to finish up what I was wanting to finish up talking about. Last topic. When it comes to drafts, I think we're all ready to hear what Colin has to say and what his favorite picks are. So you got to get him what he needs to all the nuggets and Capri Sun, and get him fueled up so that he can come on your show and give us what his picks are, because we all know that someone who picks Christian Watson and Edgerrin Cooper, I dare say I'd put up his picks against Moody's any day, and have a lot more faith that his are going to be good players. So,
and Bullard.
Get Colin on the show soon, dude. I'm out.
That's a good idea. I should get him on here. I'll have to. Maybe we'll pick a position and have him give his thoughts on that position. It's a good idea. He'll be excited that you wanted to get him on there. He's very, very proud of of his hits with the Packers so far. Certainly has more than I do. Not only just guys that he likes that the Packers pick, which never happens for me outside of Wyatt, but also just liking guys that are actually good, which I also don't tend to do. So, anywho, appreciate y'all. I'm going to get out of here. It's getting to be about that time. So, y'all have a good rest of your night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.